Welcome everyone to another edition of Def's Daily Dose of Dota, as the camera suddenly zoomed in on me. This is episode 29, and we're doing something a little different today. We're doing a combo of heroes. I don't know about you, but I get really bored in the beginning of the game playing those carries. Watch my Huskar episode from the other night. It's just a lot of... Well, I have an idea for you. Pick a support, someone who will be your peanut butter to your jelly, or in this case, your Tiny to your Wisp. Let's hop into a split screen. Let's hop into a split screen that I'm not going to screw up. Fantastic, there we are. You see the draft in the upper right. You see the Tiny and Wisp already drafted out. And we're just going to let that get rolling here. As Alliance attempt to figure out what to do against that. But I wanted to go over to Def Score here. And what I have is a mathematical basis, some analysis that I did. This is Tiny. This is a spell breakdown for Tiny. You see some familiar things here on the right-hand side. You see Avalanche. You see Toss. And what I have is around level 8. Once you're maxing out your abilities, rank 4, Toss, rank 4 Avalanche. You'll see that Toss, 300 damage, Avalanche, about 350 damage, is over 50% of your damage in an average one-on-one fight. Something that lasts about 7.5 seconds. Something that maybe you only do 200 auto attack damage. And if you go down here to the damage breakdown, you'll see that it's mostly magic, which seems a little odd for a carry. You're used to those carries being those faceless voids that are just really pumping out some damage. The sniper that Alliance just picked out, really able to pump out the damage. Well, let's change a couple things. Let's say that Tiny, we'll put him level 16, and we'll start maxing out all these abilities. Once he has rank 3 on his ultimate, and then once he starts having some farm, he starts having some items that can contribute to his right click. We'll give him an Assault Cuirass. That'll be very helpful. We'll say that he also has a Heart of Tarask. We'll even say that he has a Daedalus. That would be a good game if he had that. And we'll add in a Skull Basher. And I want you to notice that how much bigger this auto attack damage gets as we go. We're also going to add in a Blink Dagger to just say you can have a really long fight, and that you're really ambitious here. You'll see that, boom. What once was about 60% magic damage is now less than 40%, you can see down here. And what was only maybe 10% auto attack damage is now a much larger slice. So you can see, as we go over to Tiny, with the help of this grow, sure, you have magical damage abilities. These will help you get kills in the beginning, if you have the mana for it. Toss also doing damage. But with the help of Craggy Exterior and your farming ability, you'll be able to turn it into an excellent carry. And quick little note before we hop into this. Grow, you see a movement speed bonus and an attack speed loss. That's kind of the trade-off for Grow, because it's an excellent ability, an excellent ultimate. You get bonus toss damage. You can read that. Well, we hop over here to IO, and what do we see? Oh, great support. Attack speed bonus. Perfect for Tiny. Also, you go up here to Tether. You get a little bit of movement speed bonus as well. So let's hop into the game.
10 seconds remaining.
As the teams are already coming out, we're going to speed up a little bit too.
5 seconds remaining.
Because who really cares about the beginning of the game? And while we're at it, let's blow up this mini-map, because I can never look at my own VODs when I'm on my phone. So we see our heroes starting out. Fantastic. Seneko on the IO support. He's going to be helping out Diddy Raw, or as I will probably call him several times, Dirty Raw, because I can't read. He's going to be playing the Tiny in mid lane, probably facing up against Potato on an Invoker. And quick little note here, 208 mana pool, not a lot, as you would expect for a strength hero. He doesn't have a lot of intellect. So 120 mana, 120 for Toss. He can't even do a combo when he starts out. But that's why Seneko is here to support. Being the peanut butter to his jelly, the bird to his Ernie, the... I don't really give a damn about coming up with references. Let's just start the game. Also worth noting is Seneko's going to go directly for a bottle. And what do you know? 100 gold for getting the rune, and his bottle is going to be here immediately to help out Ditya. Give him some extra mana, give him some extra HP, some extra damage reduction. And we see a little bit different here. Lion's not going to stick around, but we see a dual lane. But it has a very specific purpose, as mentioned. Tiny not even taking his first point yet. Still mulling it over, and the block wasn't fantastic at the beginning. That's okay. Tiny's 285 move speed. Can't blame him. Avalanche, 100 damage you'll notice. And he begins to last hit. This is the early game, and I know what you're thinking, super boring, we're just going to see last hitting, and I'm only going to watch the video for about 7 minutes. Well, that's why we have something a little different in store for you today. Seneko, with the bottle charge, and you see, even after Avalanche being used, his HP topped back off. He's able to get 3 last hits immediately, and Potato has to back out of lane. Picked up Exhort for his first point to get some bonus right-click damage. And because this Lion's sticking around here, he's going to be a little slow on picking up the levels. Both Tiny and Wisp, however, are both level 2. We're going to see eventually some toss combos. Why not, if you have a support right next to you? And we can see that harassment like that, 80 damage with that Earth Spike and only a 1-second stun, no big deal. We see Tiny moving around, and he can tank it. Sure, he has 0 armor, but he's got a Wisp to give him more damage reduction and more mana. By the way, 2-minute rune. Ake will get it this time, but Io has the right idea. Ditya, left to his own devices to continue last hitting. Seneko says, I'll be back in a minute. Let me just drop off this bottle for the courier. Which is probably what your mids would be doing anyway. Invoker, the opposing mid, doesn't even have a bottle yet. But we see 220 mana, by the way, which is getting very close to the 240 needed for an instant combo. And 7 last hits, he's getting some denies. But they're looking for an opportunity. Avalanche, they could still use some more points than that. It's only 100 damage. Toss, only 75 minimum at rank 1. So we see for even 3 minutes here, Minuts is sticking around to go dual lane against dual lane. As Ditya, full mana, he starts to think about where to pursue. And we see an overcharge. P.S. Your supports are here to help. And with the assistance of a second support, first blood goes to Ditya. And sure, he's out of mana, but he's got his combo off. And did I say he's out of mana? What I meant to say is he's full of mana. Thanks to the assistance of Io. He'll use all his bottle charges, and that will go back to base. Also, we saw Boots of Speed coming in. And the last hitting game continues. Potato finally picking up another point in Quas. And starting to max out Exhort. Might only go for a couple points in Exhort, though. Ditya just going back to the last hitting. You'll see he's keeping pretty competitive with Invoker here, but that early kill is doing some work. Boots of Speed, very crucial. And at the 4-minute mark, he makes sure that he doesn't need to contest the rune. The Earthshaker,
A prize.
at the 4-minute mark, maybe looking to help out his mid lane. We'll see how long he stands there. Meanwhile, the lane is pushed up. You have 3 more charges coming out for the IO on this bottle. And with a full mana pool, Tiny is ready to go to business. He's ready to do work. Oh, what do you know? Earthshaker, sitting, he's patient. And Invoker falls to another combo. And if there wasn't an IO here, he would be out of mana. But since there is, this is a combo, def score, 4D episode. Meaning Tiny's going to get all the mana he needs. You'll notice up to 600 gold. He's already got some items coming out in the courier. Probably going to be going for power treads. Just give him a little extra tank ability, a little extra last hitting, and he could even treads toggle should he need it. He's rank 5. Looks like he's pooling that rank. He's up to 180 damage, around with 150, so that's almost 400 instant damage that you can pump out. Potato is right to get the hell out of lane. Pycat coming in. The stand-in for Alliance in this game. Not much of a stand-in anymore. I think he is on the main roster. Oh, what was I doing? I was running my mouth. Meanwhile, Ditya was coming to secure a kill. And Io does die here, but honestly, Chronosphere, 120-second cooldown for an Io who's going to be up in 10 seconds. He can port mid if he wants, otherwise he'll just walk there, and the problems will still persist for Alliance. Loda even switching over to the mid lane. Not sure if he wants to be here. As we see Ditya coming to contest the rune, he's a little late, but that's okay. Earthshaker is here to support, and they immediately run back into lane. This new Shrapnel doing its best to zone, and Sniper, little does he know,
Shrapnel
is in a lot of trouble. Even using his mana creeping forward, perfect job, coming up on Loda. 100 plus 200 plus 200 equals, well, about 250 gold for Tiny. That's a killing spree, which I think is an extra 50 or 100 gold going way up Tiny. He's also picked up his first point and grow. You'll notice it's bonus damage, it's bonus move speed, and once he gets the scepter, it'll be a little more cleave damage, but also 35% toss damage. He's already been using that in these combos. That will be a welcome addition. And as mentioned, although he is losing some attack speed, oh, look at that, it's overcharge.
the darkness.
Dominating might be 150 gold. I don't know. It's pouring in quite quickly for him, and that's going to be a level 6. On the heels of all those kills. We're waiting for him to come back. Suniko starting to stack up the items, getting some gold for himself. But Tiny, already level 7. You can see the last hitting. He's staying very competitive, but also very high in levels. Earthshaker, you might see him down here at 3, but he's contributed to several of the kills, like any good support would. And Ditya, if this looks boring, well, that's what happens when your opposing team has to leave lane. Sure, Invoker's getting kills, but Ditya is almost on free farm. He's at 2,000. Probably be working on that Aghanim Scepter as his next item. Or he could go for an interim item to help him in the mid-game. But a lot of times we see power treads straight into Aghanim Scepter. Overcharge, making him attack that much faster. Point booster, I love it.
Radiant structures are
More
fortified.
HP, more mana, making you last a little longer, making it a little more likely to get off these combos. And with the help of a siege creep, I think the Fortify will not even be enough. Sure, Sniper's eventually running over here, but Suneko, he grabbed the 8-minute rune. He's ready to go again for Tiny. And go they shall. Using the phenomenal 80-second cooldown. Oh, it's 90 at rank 1 actually. Relocate. Letting Ditya stand on his own
Radiant's bottom tower
as he
is
returns to
under
lane, and he will fall. But, hey, Ditya, he's now rotated to bottom lane effortlessly, and with the help of the siege creep in bottom, they may
Dire's
claim the
middle
first tower
is under attack.
if this lane doesn't get here in time, and I don't think it will, especially
Radiant's
when he's
bottom
hitting for
tower is
145
under attack.
damage. And before the 10-minute mark,
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
Ditya claims the first kill.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
We're going to take a quick look at the net worth. Oh, 5,300. As it should be expected. 6 kills for Tiny. And Tiny rotates back towards the middle lane. He knows his mid tower is very low. Io is able to just sit here and DPS on his own. Get a little extra solo XP. Puck having the time of his life.
Radiant's
Almost a
middle
dedicated
tower
bottom
is under
rune.
attack.
With Io consistently taking the top rune. And at the 10-minute mark, we're going to take a break. This is a great start for Io and Tiny. I hope you've watched the whole 10 minutes, because it's a bloodbath. We continue after this break.